Hey guys, it's Soda Studios and Co here, this time with something pretty serious. In fact, this is undoubtedly one of the most serious videos I've ever done in my whole YT career, and I really hope this is gonna be the first and last video of this kind I'll ever make. Anyways, the reason why I've decided to make this vid is because you, as my subscribers, deserve to know every detail of it. And believe me, this whole situation is much more serious than it might look on a surface level. You were thinking this, quote unquote, Maria Solberg user has made just a handful of videos with my content? Maybe not more than 10. Oh hell no, they've actually made almost 50 vids using my cursed Photoshop's videos. Yes, it's still surprising even for me. How do I even know that? Well, in order to better organize all the material needed for this video, I've created a private playlist with all the videos containing a clear proof that my content was either completely stolen and reposted as it was, or used for a different kind of content, but still clearly stolen. Sometimes, the video is not related at all, and they simply used one of my thumbnails from the cursed Photoshop's videos as a clickbait. Yeah, this is the kinda stuff we are gonna deal with. Anyways, the reason why earlier I said, quote unquote, Maria Solberg, is because I don't think the channel is actually run by a woman named Maria Solberg, but rather what seems to be his son, judging by a few videos in which you can see his face. Of course, I'm not gonna show it here, because what we are talking about is his actions, not his looks. But just so that you know, he looks like a kid no older than 10 years old. From now on, I'll only say Maria Solberg when needed, but you'll have to imagine the name in quotation marks, for the reason I told you some seconds ago. Anyways, this kid makes videos with characters from different franchises, such as Thomas, Chuggington, Rory, Bob the Builder, and even Elias the Little Boat, which, for those who don't know, is essentially a mix of Theodore Tugboat and JJ, the jet plane, all set in Norway, which also seems to be Maria Solberg's hometown, given how some of the vids on the channel get translated from Norwegian on Google Translate. Oh, and yeah, he also seems to be literally obsessed with the Lady and the Tramp movie, for whatever reason, particularly the lady morning scene, and I'm telling you all of this seemingly trivial stuff to let you know what his channel's like, and also because he sometimes mixes my stolen content with all those other franchises, creating stuff only he knows the meaning of. And this is a common issue with YouTube channels run by children. Even when the channels themselves actually belong to grown-ups, the kids just start making nonsensical videos, and they expect the viewers to actually understand whatever's going on. Of course, most of the times this doesn't happen, and the whole channel gets flooded with tons and tons of vids that barely anyone will ever find. Maria's channel fits this case perfectly. As you can see, it has over 2,000 videos and barely more than 80 subscribers. Also, another weird thing is that a lot of videos are labeled as age restricted, and he's actually turned that setting on all by himself. I got no clue about its meaning, although it isn't that relevant for this video. Anyways, now let's start with all the actual proof I found. The first type of video I want to discuss about is min Photoshop number characters. To give you a bit more context, it's like my format, but expanded with multiple franchises, which are the ones I listed you earlier. Although, when Thomas-based Photoshops appear, they're either stolen from my vids, or even completely recreated from scratch. Now I'm gonna show you some footage from episode 1. Just to give you a general idea about what this format looks like, and then I'm gonna put my Thomas Photoshops on your left, and his on your right, so that you can check all the differences side by side, whenever they are present. Alright guys, this was a taste of min Photoshop number characters. If you're as confused as I am, then I totally understand you. Anyways, now it's time to compare the real and the fake, so brace yourselves. Oh, and yes, we also need the right music for this. There we go, that's definitely much better, right? Well, holy shit guys, can you actually believe this kid was so obsessed with my cursed photoshops, to the point that he even tried to recreate them? Only to end up with, let's be honest about it, pretty questionable results. And here's the proof of why the edits that I make end up becoming so popular, because they look convincing. Anyone looking at them could imagine them as potential OCs. Or even siblings of already existing characters. Also, pay attention to the pics appearing on the screen. Noticing something odd going on? I'll give you a hint. Look at the views, and then the likes. Yeah, that's right. Even if these vids have gotten some slight degree of popularity, although nowhere near as the original format, people neither leave likes nor comments, because they're too busy wondering what the hell's going on. So we could basically say that all these big views are actually mistakes, rather than intentional. That's definitely not something to be proud of. Like, imagine being a small channel that nobody knows, you tried copying, or even stealing, someone else's format, and in the end all you get is just your clickbaity vids becoming slightly more popular, because people clicked on them by mistake, but then, realizing it wasn't actually the real deal, they actually closed the video, without leaving even one single like or comment. That's basically the same as owning a shop and claiming to have many customers just because a lot of people step inside and then they get out without buying anything. Now, the next type of videos I wanna show you are those that were just completely stolen from me in one single piece and then re-uploaded. But before that, let me just show you one last thing. This kid copied from my format. You guys better brace yourselves. Ta-da, he even managed to copy my ultimate compilation of cursed face swaps. Or should I say, lol mate. Now I'll show you about 15 to 20 seconds of each stolen video. The first one is called Thomas and Friends, a completion of extremely cursed Thomas face swap Photoshop made by me number 3. It's basically my second mega compilation video, which included episodes 4, 5, and 6, but he also added episode 7 to make it longer. Lastly, he muted the original vids and re-put the cursed me channel music, looping it until the end. Oh yes, there's also one more thing. In my mega compilation videos, I always put a message at the end of all the photoshops, so that the music doesn't end abruptly once all the edits from that batch have been shown. This kid has done the same thing, by trimming the final message from the OG mega compilation vid, and moving it at the end of episode 4, to let you better understand what he did. I'll show you some more clips from that video. Next up on the list is this video called T&F Photoshop Face Swaps number 1, and is essentially a screen recording of my 10th Face Swaps episode. From start to finish, I take this chance to warn you that you should lower your device's volume, since the screen recording app you used seems to have completely messed up the audio. Anyways, just like before, here's a brief clip from the video. Welp, are your ears still okay after that? I really hope so. Anyways, the next vid is a re-upload of my 12th Cursed Face Swaps episode. Some of you may be wondering, why does it say re-upload? Well, back when the OG video was posted, YouTube had marked it as for kids, so I decided to delete it, and add a few curse words here and there in my own comments on how some of the edits looked, such as how Glenn's face on Rocky's body looked so fucking chunky. Then, I re-uploaded it. It wasn't an issue that lasted for too long, and the video has never been marked as for kids again. In any case, I had already told my subscribers all about what had happened, and that the video was going to be reposted as soon as possible. So in the end, this re-upload has simply become useless. Plus, all it is a badly done screen recording. So even if the intention was actually good, to some extent, the execution is really poor in quality, and you should just keep supporting the original vid. Coming up next is another screen recorded video. This one's called Do an EE Screen Recorder. Yes, not recorder, recorder. It's essentially the screen recording of my 16th Face Swaps episode, except in this case, there's other funky stuff going on the screen, and this is probably the best vid in this category for one specific reason. Have you noticed something weird going on? Not really? Well then, let me show you. At the beginning of these episodes, when it briefly says, pause and read, I always leave a welcoming message, and ever since I discovered Maria Solberg stealing my videos, I've also added warnings, like in this case, where it says in capital letters, these are the only official videos, don't trust thieves like a certain, quote-unquote, Maria Solberg, who has been stealing some of my content from this format. Like, seriously, how dumb do you have to be to screen record part of a video containing a warning that mentions your name? In any case, the next stolen content seems to be a mashup of different face swap episodes. It's called Soda Studios It Co. Mads by me number 1 and number 18, and it features 18 of my face swaps from the 18 episodes I had released at that time. By the looks of it, they seem to be completely random, since it doesn't say anywhere whether they are Maria Solberg's favorite edits or not, although, for some people, this may count as a small tribute. The fact this kid has stolen a lot of my own content before, and the lack of a well-defined context and explanation for what this video's actually supposed to be, plus the overall bad quality, with the video not even properly showing the captions, and the audio being all over the place, it all pisses me off quite a lot. The last video in this group is titled, Soda Studios & Co. Photoshops number 1, number 2, number 3, number 1, and it's basically the concept of my mega compilation videos brought to the next level. The first 3 episodes, which together make the first mega compilation video, are all being played at the same time, just like all the other stolen vids. Even in this case, the audio's been totally messed up. This is why I decided to mute it. Before moving on to the next type of stolen content, I wanna show you one more video, called Bunty Moore and Cranty Monkey, which are 2 photoshops I made, both having Monty's face, but the first with Byron's body, and the second with Cranky's. Those edits appear in the video, and then there's a weird looking animation, which I have no clue what it means, nor do I wanna find it out, followed by, guess what, all the edits I made using Rajiv's face. Like, whatever was the point of this stuff? Showing everyone that you're a smart kid, because you can recognize when a certain character gets used more than once? Yeah, there's just one small issue. Nobody really cares about it. Now it's time for all that content this kid has stolen from me, and has reused it for his own videos. So it's not just badly made screen recordings like before, but he also combined them with stuff from his own lore, which I guess only he knows how it works. This group, so far, is the smallest one, with only 3 videos I was able to find. 2 more details I didn't mention earlier, because I wanted to keep it for this moment, is that he's literally obsessed with iMovie, especially those ready-made movie trailers, and he has his own, quote-unquote, series, called Bollywood True. Don't ask me the meaning of it, because, once again, I got no idea about it. Anyways, these pieces of information are gonna be essential, in order to have at least a bit of context about the vids that we are about to see. The first vid in this group is titled like my cursed Photoshop's videos, except for Bollywood True instead of Thomas and Friends, and the fact it's neither in full HD nor in 60 FPS. The video shows some face swaps, this time actually made by him, except one, which is my sack/jam edit, but let's also talk about the other ones. The first is Ria/Nexus Bollywood. Then we have Shinki/Frafas Hefter, Art/Darius Familine, Lodi/Kulenzo as Episk Drama, Lunken/Dukas even Terem SR number 2, Sack/Jam as Romanesque Comedy, Jakar/Rabens as iMovie Trailer Super Health Halloween, Francel/Diki as iMovie Trailer Retro Halloween, and Caldero/Fidi as iMovie Trailer Adrenaline Halloween. It's basically Thomas characters becoming stock trailers from my movie, nothing more, nothing less. Amongst all these edits, the one I find the most awkward is Lordi/Kulenzo, not just because that's not Kuldi's face, but Mike's, but also because the Kulenzo makes me think of culo, which in Italian and Spanish means ass. The next video is called Maria Solberg iMovie Trailer, and believe me when I say, it's a complete mess. As always, I'll show you the first 20 seconds, but this is the first time in this vid I'm genuinely so confused that I don't even know what to say, so I'll just leave the video to you.
Record not. Rosenbergen.
Have a swimming island.
And now, here's one more part of the video where some of my cursed edits appear, for just a split second each, and without any context whatsoever, but they're in the video. Oh yes, and also, for some reason, he mentioned Hugo Valentin, even though he, just like me, has got nothing to do with all of this. If you guys thought this was already messy enough, brace yourselves for one of the most confusing vids of your whole lives. Ladies and gents, get ready for a compilation of extremely made by me number 11 iMovie Trailer Swashbuckler. I seriously think even the text-to-speech voice I'm using, if it was a real human voice, would have had a stroke by trying to read this. And this time, the video's so messed up that I'll just have to show it to you until the end. So yeah, this is an iMovie trailer for the 11th episode of my Cursed Face Swaps series. Am I supposed to feel proud of such a tribute? Spoiler, I'm not. This is still stolen content, so my opinion won't change. Well, if you'll manage to survive this, then it means you're ready for the final section of all the stolen content, which features videos that, for whatever reason, have one of my cursed edits appearing in the thumbnail, but then the edits themselves don't actually appear in the video, or, if they appear, they're visible only as a small thumbnail. In any case, it still counts as stuff belonging to me that has been stolen. This last category can be further divided into two groups, one where my cursed edits appear only partially and together with other stuff, and another where the photoshops are used as the thumbnail. Even though the videos themselves have got nothing to do with it, one could say the first group is more, quote unquote, innocent, because my videos are there only by chance. but I'm not sure about it. I still feel pretty uneasy about seeing my own edits in the thumbnail of a totally unrelated video, and I can't help but think he has done it at least partially on purpose. I don't know. It's like some sort of unintentional subliminal message. Really hard to describe, but still something that unsettles me. Well, anyways, the first video in this category is pretty short. It lasts 5 seconds, and it has no audio. It's just a screen recording, with some more screen recorded videos shown in the screen recording app that Maria Solberg apparently uses. Yeah, it's one of those things it's much easier to look at, rather than try to explain. After this, we have some more stuff, but this time, as a proof that the presence of my cursed edits is irrelevant to what it actually happens in the video, I'll show you 10 seconds at the beginning, and then I'll drag that red circle, or dot, with my finger, until it reaches the end, to show you that my thumbnail doesn't appear, or, even if it actually appears, nothing much really changes in the video itself.
It's for you, darling.
Oh, Jim dear.
Hay un lugar con aquel peculiar, a cala cordial, a veiguiña do mar. Ten 3 almacéns, cada calma e riseiro, que escoitan historias do vento mareiro.
That was definitely something, right? Anyways, now it's time for all those vids where one of my cursed edits is used as a thumbnail, but this time in what I suppose it's an intentional way of capturing one's attention. If that's actually the case, I can't believe that a kid like him already knows what clickbaits are. And just like before, I'll show you the first 10 seconds of each video, and then I'll drag that circle/dot to the end of the vid.
The night is black.
Clarabelle and Annie. See? We do read all your mail.
Bust my buffers. It's great to be back, carrying top secret cargo down the railroad track.
That was certainly a good load of things that will most likely make you say, what the actual hell? And we have a few more vids, but these ones are gonna be significantly shorter, so I might as well do the voiceover while I show you these two here, which are just the same vid, and even have the same title, but one has my skister/buff edit as the thumbnail, and the other one uses my cranky the old slow crane edit. You can also tell they are two different vids by looking at the views, and I don't know what the hell these rectangles are supposed to mean. And again, I wouldn't really care about these vids if it wasn't for the simple yet crucial fact that he stole my photoshops and put them as thumbnails. We have the very few last vids to talk about. The first one's called The Accident Theme, Season 7. Sheesh, this might actually be interesting. Let's see if it's actually the accident theme from Season 7. Guess what? It isn't. It's just the danger, or accident, theme, from Season 2, but at a lower pitch. Just how did you dare fool us like that? Our disappointment's immeasurable. And our day is ruined. And finally, for the last vid on our list, not just in this category, but amongst all the stolen content in general, we have this one here, which is also an exception, because in this case, the stolen edit appears in both the thumbnail and the vid itself. But the problem's always the same. What the hell does my Photoshop have to do with all of this? Like, yes, the video's about that Elias cartoon, and Bulstrode, or in this case, Bulfie/Alstrode, is a boat, well, actually a barge, but he's still the same kind of vehicle, just like the characters in Elias, though, at this point, why not just directly use pics taken from Elias, instead of using someone else's stuff? Plus, the video title's in Norwegian. But the audio is in what I think it's Catalan, because it sounds like Spanish, but slightly different, and no, I'm sure it's not Portuguese.
Último aviso civil, permítame revisar la captura.
Tampouco é para se cabrear tanto. Se lle queres botar un ollo, bótallo, sen problema.
So, these were all the times Maria Solberg, or rather, this kid, stole things from my channel, re-uploaded them, reused them for his own stuff, or even just put them in the thumbnail, desperately trying to make it look more appealing at a first glance. If you guys managed to stick with me until the end, then you deserve a hug, after all the things you had to watch along with me. But before making our final conclusions, there's one very last thing I wanna show you. Remember how, a few days ago, I made a post explaining I wasn't going to make the new cursed face swaps episode for the end of July, and thus the next step will be released at the end of August? Well, check this out. He reused one of those weird brown rectangle vids to announce his 80 or so subs. That the next cursed face swaps will be posted on the 28th of August. Yeah, all really cool, but there's one little issue. The release date is always the last weekend of the month, which in this case, is 24th/the 25th of August, so you totally got the date wrong. Plus, if I wanna give updates to my subs, I can do that by myself. I certainly don't need a random kid like you, acting as my spokesperson. Or whatever else. At this point, it's time to draw our final conclusions about all of this. As you can see, all the information I gave you, even the most seemingly trivial ones, in the end proved to be important to try to understand, at least partially, the lore behind the videos I showed you. And mind you, I've only included those that had something stolen from my channel. If it wasn't for that, if none of those vids had my cursed face swaps in them, I couldn't care less about this whole channel, about this kid's obsession with Lady and the Tramp, iMovie trailers, and a Norwegian cartoon about boats, and about the fact this channel has over 2,000 videos. But to make these cursed photoshops, and put them in a video, it takes me effort and time. That's why I make them only once a month. So that I can also have the time I need to both handle my personal life and create new face swaps. That's why seeing them being stolen, as if it was nothing more than just a bunch of times, really upsets me. Of course, none of those stolen and re-uploaded/modified vids will ever be as popular as the original ones, thanks to your ever-growing support, but they are still out there on YouTube, which shouldn't be happening. And the fact this kid has done it so many times makes me think he's fully aware of what he's doing. Now, even though the chances that the real Maria Solberg is currently watching this video are extremely low, I still feel like giving it a shot. Your son, by stealing my videos and reposting them on his channel, or modifying them for his own vids, has done a very pathetic thing. It's pathetic. because he most likely did it to try to reach the same level of popularity the original format has, and yet people have left barely any likes, let alone comments, so his idea totally failed. But, does this mean your son is a pathetic kid? Absolutely not. And yes, your son has done a bad thing, but I don't think this automatically makes him a bad kid in real life as well. I'm sure he's got some friends at school, he likes playing video games, doing some outdoor activity, watching both TV, and, of course, videos on YouTube. But the way he's been acting on this website, by stealing all that content of mine, has given him a bad reputation. At least on my channel. Thus I had no choice but to permanently ban him, so that he can't leave any comments under my vids. In any case, the best thing to do would be to delete all the stolen videos I showed in this vid here, but it would also be fine if he simply stopped stealing things from me. Keep in mind that he's fully responsible for what he's done, but as a parent, you're even more responsible for not keeping an eye on him, so you need to prevent this from ever happening again, especially because, if your son doesn't learn what's right or wrong now, he'll start doing much worse things in future. As for all of you guys who have watched this video until the very end, do not go on this kid's channel, just to flood him with insults, and even in the comments below, I want you all to behave properly. I know he's done something really bad, but this doesn't give you the right to insult neither him nor his mother, and, as I said more than once, I wanted to make this video because it's a weight I wanted to get off my shoulders, and also because I felt that my subscribers needed to know all about this situation. Now I wanna finish this video by giving one last message to the real Maria Solberg. Tell your son that his channel's perfectly fine as it is. If he wants to upload stuff about Lady and the Tramp, iMovie trailers, cartoon characters, and whatever else he likes, he can do that without any issues and as much as he wants, but he has to delete all the videos with things he stole from me in them, or simply quit stealing. If that happens, I'll declare this whole Maria Solberg thing officially closed. And of course, thanks so much to you all for managing to stick with me until the end of this video.